Royal life is often imagined as predictable, castles, crowns, and centuries of unchanging tradition. But step into the world of Prince Edward, Duke of Edinburgh, and Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, and you will find something far more surprising. Behind the gates of their vast estate lies a life where history and modern comfort meet. Priceless heirlooms beside family photographs, manicured gardens framing children's laughter, and the quiet hum of royal duty woven into everyday moments. It is a world where wealth does not scream. It reveals itself in whispers. A 120-room mansion, heirloom jewels worth millions, and retreats so secluded they have been untouched for generations. This is not just royalty as you think you know it. This is the unexpected side of the British crown. Bagshot Park, the royal home. Tucked away in the rolling countryside of Surrey, Bagshot Park is more than just a royal residence. It is a 120-room red brick statement of heritage, privilege, and quiet power. Once a royal hunting lodge, it now stands as the private sanctuary of Prince Edward, Sophie, and their two children, Lady Louise Windsor and James, Earl of Wessex. The approach alone feels like entering another world. A sweeping driveway curves through 51 hectares of manicured lawns and ancient woodlands before revealing the mansion's grand facade. Tall chimneys, ornate stonework, and windows that have reflected centuries of British history. Step inside, and the first impression is one of space and light. High ceilings crown oak-paneled halls, while expansive bay windows invite in the English sun. The interiors strike a rare balance, the grandeur expected of a royal home, softened by the warmth of a lived-in family house. There are antique armchairs beside well-worn sofas, formal portraits hanging near candid family photographs. The decor bears Sophie's unmistakable touch, soft, neutral tones that lend calm, fresh flowers arranged with quiet elegance, and subtle personal details tucked into corners. This is not a sterile palace tour. It is a home where birthdays are celebrated in the dining room, schoolwork is done at the kitchen table, and evenings might end with tea in the drawing room overlooking the gardens. Outside, the grounds are equally captivating. From formal rose gardens to secluded woodland paths, every inch of the estate is maintained to perfection. There are private lawns where the children once played without the shadow of cameras, and hidden spots where Edward and Sophie can walk together, away from the world's gaze. In royal culture, such a home is more than shelter. It is a stage for tradition, a symbol of continuity, and a fortress of privacy. For Edward and Sophie, Bagshot Park is all of this and more. A living blend of royal protocol and the intimate, unpredictable rhythm of family life. Balmoral Castle. Far from the manicured lawns of Surrey lies a different kind of royal luxury, wild, untamed, and steeped in tradition. In the Scottish Highlands, not far from the legendary Balmoral Castle, Prince Edward and Sophie retreat to a place where titles fade, and the rhythm of life is dictated by the wind, the hills, and the seasons. Here, the pace slows. Mornings might begin with Edward casting a fishing line into a clear Highland river, or walking the moors with a rifle during the autumn shooting season, a pastime cherished by generations of royals. Sophie, in contrast, finds her peace in long walks across heather-covered hills. The purple blooms stretching as far as the eye can see, the only sound the crunch of her boots on the path, and the occasional cry of a curlew overhead. Evenings are a world away from the formality of state banquets. A fire crackles in the hearth, and the scent of wood smoke fills the air. Meals are hearty and local, venison stew, fresh salmon, and warm bread. It is here, in this remote escape, that the Duke and Duchess can sit side by side without the weight of ceremony, simply as husband and wife. For the British royal family, Balmoral has always been more than just a holiday destination. Queen Elizabeth II famously called it her happy place, and many of the family's most personal moments have unfolded in its seclusion, from summer picnics to private family portraits. By spending time here, Edward and Sophie are not just enjoying a seasonal getaway, they are participating in a royal tradition that stretches back over 150 years. This Scottish refuge offers them something Bagshot Park cannot: complete anonymity. Local residents are famously discreet, and the rugged landscape ensures that a quiet walk will stay just that, quiet. In a life where public appearances are carefully choreographed, these Highland escapes are where spontaneity returns and the heart of royal life beats at its most human. Prince Edward's collection. In the British royal family, cars are far more than machines. They are moving emblems of heritage, diplomacy, and personal taste. For Prince Edward and Sophie, every vehicle they choose carries a message. Understated elegance over brash display, timeless quality over passing trends. Number 1. BMW Alpina B10 V8S. A rare gem, even in royal circles, this performance saloon is based on the BMW 5 Series, but transformed by Alpina's precision engineering. With a top speed north of 170 km/h and a handcrafted interior, it is the perfect marriage of power and refinement. Valued today between £50,000 and £70,000, it speaks to Edward's quiet preference for mechanical excellence over flash. Number 2, Range Rover. In royal life, the Range Rover is almost a uniform. For country engagements or trips to Scotland, it offers both capability and comfort. Bespoke interiors, discreet armor, and the ability to glide from palace driveways to muddy Highland tracks make it indispensable. Costing £90,000, £120,000, it reflects the practical side of royal luxury. Number 3. Rolls-Royce Phantom Drophead Coupe. On certain ceremonial occasions, Edward has been seen behind the wheel of this convertible masterpiece. With a teak-decked rear, a long bonnet, and a silent V12 engine, it is a car that whispers prestige. Worth over £350,000 when new, it is less a mode of transport and more a statement of continuity in the royal image. Sophie's signature rides. Jaguar XJ. Sleek, elegant, and unmistakably British, the Jaguar XJ mirrors Sophie's public image, approachable yet refined. Valued between £60,000 and £80,000 when new, it glides rather than roars, embodying grace over ostentation. Rover 75. While far more modest in price, around £20,000 when new, the Rover 75 carries nostalgic charm for British car enthusiasts. For Sophie, it represents comfort and familiarity, proving that not every royal journey requires grandeur. Sometimes it is the sentiment that matters most. In the culture of the monarchy, a car is never just a car. It is a mobile extension of the crown, a rolling backdrop for photographs, and a private space where moments of family life unfold between public duties. For Edward and Sophie, their garage is not about collecting the rarest models for display. It is about choosing vehicles that blend seamlessly into the rhythm of their royal life, whether that means greeting dignitaries at the palace gates or navigating winding Highland roads under a grey Scottish sky. Net worth and royal finances. When most people hear that Prince Edward and Sophie's combined net worth is estimated at 45 to 50 million US dollars, they imagine vaults of gold, piles of cash, or endless liquid assets ready to spend. The reality of royal wealth is far more complex and far more rooted in tradition than in bank balances. As working royals, Edward and Sophie receive a portion of the sovereign grant, public funds allocated for official duties. This pays for staff salaries, travel to engagements, and the costs of hosting events. Every penny is audited, meaning it is not spending money in the celebrity sense, but a functional budget for royal service. Private inheritance. Edward inherited assets from his father, Prince Philip, and from other royal family members, including the Queen Mother. These inheritances are managed through complex trusts designed not for personal splurging, but to preserve capital across generations. Sophie's career earnings. Before her marriage, Sophie built a successful career in public relations, co-founding her own agency and working with high-profile clients. By the time she entered royal life, she had already secured personal savings and investments, a rare independence for a royal bride. Bagshot Park lease. Bagshot Park, their 120-room Surrey residence, is leased from the Crown Estate under a long-term agreement costing around £90,000 per year. While far below market value, this is still a significant ongoing expense, reminding us that even royals must pay rent in their own way. Trust funds for their children. Lady Louise Windsor and James, Earl of Wessex, are believed to be beneficiaries of family trusts, ensuring a secure future whether they choose royal duties or private careers. The unique nature of royal wealth. Unlike a business magnate whose net worth might be tied to companies they can sell, much of Edward and Sophie's wealth is illiquid, bound up in properties they do not own outright, trusts they cannot dissolve, and heirlooms they must preserve for the nation. Their finances are interwoven with the expectations of the crown, the grandeur of their lifestyle, chauffeured cars, formal attire, historic residences, is not solely for personal enjoyment. It serves the monarchy's image, projecting stability, heritage, and continuity to the public and the world. In other words, their wealth is not just a privilege, it is a responsibility. To maintain it, they must maintain the trust of both the institution they serve and the people they represent. Philanthropy and royal duty. In the world of royalty, charity work can sometimes be reduced to photo opportunities and ribbon-cutting ceremonies. But for Prince Edward and Sophie, philanthropy is not a side note. It is a full chapter of their public life, written with time, travel, and genuine engagement. Sophie is patron to over 70 organizations, and her portfolio of causes is as diverse as it is personal. Preventable blindness. Through her work with Vision, 2020, the Right to Sight and the Queen Elizabeth Diamond Jubilee Trust, she has visited hospitals in Malawi, health centers in India, and clinics across the Commonwealth to witness life-changing surgeries. These are not one-hour drop-ins. She listens to patients' stories, learns the names of local staff, and follows up on progress. Women's empowerment and protection. Sophie actively supports survivors of sexual violence, rural healthcare initiatives, and education programs aimed at giving women greater independence. Community engagement. She makes frequent low-profile visits to charities, far from the spotlight, where the work is unglamorous but essential. Her style is approachable and empathetic. She speaks with people, not at them, creating a rare sense of connection between the monarchy and everyday citizens. Edward, champion of youth and culture. Prince Edward's focus lies in youth development, education, and the arts. The Duke of Edinburgh's award, founded by his father, this program challenges young people to develop resilience, leadership, and skills outside the classroom. Edward travels extensively to promote it, often meeting participants in schools and community centers worldwide. Arts and theater, a longtime supporter of the National Youth Theater and other creative institutions, he champions the idea that the arts are not luxuries but necessities for a vibrant society. Education and opportunity. Edward advocates for initiatives that give young people from all backgrounds access to quality education and extracurricular development. A united front. As a couple, they embody a balance of royal duty. Sophie brings warmth and grassroots empathy, while Edward offers steady strategic oversight. Together, they have cultivated a reputation for consistency, supporting the same causes year after year, proving they are in it for the long haul. In a time when public opinion on the monarchy can be divided, their approach stands out. They are not chasing headlines. They are earning trust, one handshake, one conversation, and one completed project at a time. For Edward and Sophie, philanthropy is not performance. It is the quiet, steady work that turns royal privilege into public benefit, ensuring their legacy is measured not in tabloid coverage, but in lives changed. Personal life, from two worlds to one royal life. It begins in two different worlds. One behind the gilded gates of Buckingham Palace, where a newborn prince's first cries echoed through rooms that had hosted kings and queens for centuries. That was March 10th, 1964, the day Prince Edward came into the world. Not as a future king, but as the youngest son of the reigning queen. The air of destiny was there, but so was the quiet knowledge that his life would be lived in the shadow of the throne. The other, in the quiet streets of Kent, was far from the pomp of royal ceremony. January 20th, 1965, a little girl named Sophie Reese-Jones was born to Christopher and Mary, her father selling tires, her mother working as a secretary. Her childhood was warm but ordinary. School runs, Sunday roasts, the occasional seaside holiday. No one looking at the girl in her school uniform would have guessed she would one day marry a prince. Edward's youth was shaped by tradition and discipline. At Gordonstoun School in Scotland, mornings began with icy showers and ended with challenges in the rugged outdoors. It was meant to harden character. For Edward, it built something subtler, a quiet resilience, a preference for steady work over flashy displays. Sophie, meanwhile, was learning another craft, how to communicate. She trained as a secretary, moved into public relations, and eventually co-founded her own PR agency. She could read a room, gauge a mood, and keep her composure when others floundered, skills that would later become her armor in royal life. Their worlds collided in 1993 at a charity tennis match. No royal fanfare, no instant fairy tale, just a polite meeting between two people who at first barely made a ripple in each other's lives. But over time, conversations turned into friendship, friendship into trust, and trust into something deeper. By the time they married in June 1999 at St. George's Chapel, Windsor, they had already faced storms together. Sophie had weathered a tabloid scandal. Edward had defended her quietly but firmly. Their wedding was refreshingly unpretentious for royalty. No balcony kiss, no lavish parade, just a promise made in front of family and close friends to walk side by side. Years later, their life at Bagshot Park with two children, Lady Louise and James, looks less like a glossy royal postcard and more like a family album. School uniforms draped over chairs, dogs at their feet, laughter in the garden. Legacy and modern monarchy. When the history books are written, Prince Edward and Sophie may not be remembered for dramatic scandals or headline-grabbing controversies, and perhaps that is their quiet triumph. Their legacy is built not on spectacle, but on constancy. A 120-room home that is grand enough to host dignitaries, yet warm enough to hold family dinners. A marriage that has weathered more than 2 decades under the public eye without losing its center. A record of service that measures success in lives touched, not column inches printed. In Bagshot Park, history and the present live side by side. Antique portraits above fireplaces, school bags dropped in the hallway, the scent of fresh roses from the garden mingling with the polish on oak floors. It is here that the grandeur of the British crown finds its human heart. In an era when the monarchy must walk a tightrope between tradition and modern relevance, Edward and Sophie have shown that you can do both, by working steadily, living authentically, and never forgetting that even the most gilded titles are worn by people first. Their story is not the fairy tale of instant romance and glittering coronations. It is the quieter, rarer kind, the kind where respect grows over time, trust deepens through storms, and love is measured in the calm certainty of two people who know they are exactly where they belong. And as the gates of Bagshot Park close once more, the image lingers, a duke and duchess, not waving from a balcony but walking side by side down a garden path, their voices low, their steps unhurried. In that moment, you understand. It is not just where they live that matters. It is how they live.